So then I had on one angle a whole bunch of vegetarians and plant-based people coming at me, and a bunch of Christians coming at me because I'm not teaching and saying things the way that they would say it. I'm not yelling Jesus in my videos. You understand? So again, I was saying, Most High, what is this? And it came back to me again. It's your shadows. It's your shadows. And I'm sharing this message because, hey everyone, it's Sandia here. And I wanted to come on today to do this video to address something that I'm calling shadow work. Since I did my recordings of the near-death experience that I had in January, and also the experience of going to hell that I had in 2017, which was where my spirit was taken out of my body. I didn't die or anything like that. It's just I was taken out of my body and I was told that I was going to experience death. I was given a message to come back and to share with people who wanted to know how they can, save themselves from experiencing that torment that we've come to know as hell, right? So since posting these videos, I have received what we would call negative comments. And obviously nobody likes to share something personal, their own experience, and receive negativity. It's nice to get all of the, all of the beautiful comments. Thank you to everyone who has sent nice comments letting me know that the messages have been life-changing or have helped them work through something that they were struggling with. I really appreciate your feedback. In the midst of those positive comments, sprinkled among them, you will find some negative ones. And I had a series of different emotions dealing with these negative comments. And I realized that so much was being revealed within my own heart, having to deal with these comments. And I was at one point, for example, I'm going to be very vulnerable and very honest in this video, more than the others, most likely. So I'm going to apologize from now if somebody is offended. But if you are offended, I would say, take a look within and think, why are my words that I'm speaking on my own experience, why are these words offending you, right? That's just my assistance before even starting. I'm trying to let you know I am going to speak freely, okay? So in the near-death experience, I spoke about, in that video, I spoke about being shown that like all the good things I had done in my life, and then it really amounting to nothing, and that I had realized, well, a lot of these things that I've done that were good, really is the Spirit of Most High was operating through me. And a lot of these things I do that are good, I don't even know how I accomplished them, because they're gifts. Gifts were given to me and I utilized these gifts and people are helped, right? But when it came to being a vegetarian, that was a choice that I decided I was going to be a vegetarian. At first, becoming a vegetarian was all about the love of animals, right? My youngest son at the time said to me, Mom, how could we save these salmon if they're endangered and we're trying to save them, but we're gonna kill them and eat them? It doesn't really make sense. And I didn't really have an answer for that, so I paused and I stopped eating salmon. It was actually a progress for me. I was first, I went through this whole thing, no white sugar, no white bread. I went through all of those kind of refined things, and then it became no meat, and salmon was actually the last thing, and cheese and eggs were the last things that I was eating. So I was already on this progression to not eating any animals. And there was a time where people would ask me like, oh, like what would you eat? And I would say, nothing with a mother or eyes. And and I would respond like that. So I look back and I laugh, and I'm going to get to this, right? But I'm sharing this with you just so you could understand that when I became a vegetarian at first, it was purely because I was trying to save animals. I didn't like how they were being treated. I didn't like that they were suffering in order for us to eat. And I figured if there's something else I could eat and these animals, be not killed on my behalf, then, I was making a stand and I was doing something, right? A lot of things happened. That was, I think I started my journey in, as far as plant-based journey, that was 12 years ago, okay? So I did 9 years of being a vegan, and then the last 3 years of my life was as a vegetarian. I live on a farm. We have our own eggs. We have our goat milk and all that stuff. I do still have cheese out. Not now. Before my near-death experience, I would still have like cheese and stuff, from sourcing out of my farm. Anyhow, all of that being said, without people knowing anything about my journey from becoming plant-based to now, there's been a slew of, negative, and I don't want to even say a slew, because in comparison to all of the positive, it's really this much, not much. But my whole thing is that, when I had the near-death experience in January, it was an issue of blood where I was literally hemorrhaging and I was bleeding out. I had lost 40% of my blood, and the whole ordeal wasn't done, right? I still had a process to go through that I wouldn't know when it would all finish, right? So I knew I had a short window of time to bring my blood back up before the full thing, finished happening. I don't want to get into talking about the miscarriage, okay? So I'm getting to a point here, just bear with me. So I decided to continue taking the heme iron, which I had already received from the hospital, in order to save my life. I continued taking heme iron. I researched that there's a difference between iron from plants and iron from animals. In a time of trying to stay alive and decide what can you do to bring your body back to optimal health so that you could be here for your family, it's not really the time where you're going to spend months or years figuring out this iron with plants, iron with animals. Listen, I'm gonna be real. I wanted an answer, and I looked at the research, and all of the research that I was finding was saying that iron from animals is the most effective, especially when you have a heme iron deficiency. So knowing that about my condition, I proceeded to source iron from animals. Different parts of certain animals are known to have more iron, and that was my decision. My family is still, apart from my husband, my children, they're still plant-based. And during my experience in the near-death experience, I was saying to the force that was with me, I didn't see a person, it didn't feel like any specific entity, it just felt like like a powerful force was with me. And I remember saying, even being a vegetarian, like, I saw everything in my life that I had done well. I understood that this was all through the Spirit of God or gifts of God, whatever it is. But being a vegetarian was my choice. And I was saying, even being a vegetarian, like, wasn't that good? I thought that was a good thing. Now, the point is that the very thought of wasn't that good was a proof to my own self in that moment that I did this, I must have done this for the wrong reasons, because I asked the question, but isn't that good? Right? My own question condemned me, because it was like, the fact that you're asking isn't that good means you thought that being a vegetarian was good and you were doing it because you also thought it was good, because had I thought it was bad, I would have stopped doing it, right? Anyways, I just mentioned that a little part in my experience. It's not even the biggest, most important part. It's just a little part of what I experienced. I mentioned that. And some people who are vegetarians and who are vegans, found the opportunity to educate me on the suffering of animals. Mind you, I had been plant-based for 12 years, and only through my near-death experience did I turn and begin to have heme iron sourced from animals, right? I know this. I know this story. I know this narrative. I lived it. I preached it. And so now I'm sitting and I'm reading these comments and I'm saying, excuse my language, holy shit, this is what I sounded like. This was me. This person is my shadow. This is a shadow of my old self. This is the darkness. This is exactly the way that I would have probably responded to someone. A mother who just lost their child, who almost died, who shared a story of coming back to this realm and a story of love. That woman would probably share all of that. And I would just hear, now I eat meat. And I was thinking, holy crow. This is like so terrible. I could see it so clearly how I cared so much for the life of animals that it blinded me from caring to the utmost for the life of another human being. And I'm seeing this now. I'm telling you, through this experience, this is what I'm seeing. And I feel like these negative comments became such a blessing to me because I'm saying, I never want to go back. I never want to go back and become a person. I'm not saying I'll never become plant-based. Understand what I'm saying. I never want to go back to being a person who will become religious about my choices that I make in my life because it is what is good for me. It is what I feel that Spirit is leading me to. And I'm realizing that it is so it's so important that when Spirit leads us to something, that we are open to Spirit leading us through that thing and to something else. So often we are led to something and then we cannot flow. If the situation or scenario changes, we become, and that's why I use the word religious. It's like this is what I'm in and this is where I'm at and nothing can change that. And I remember saying like, I'll never eat animals. Like I'd never do that. You understand? Until my life depended on it. So all of this to say, I've learned the most important thing. Do not judge. Do not judge lest ye be judged. Do not judge. I have learned that lesson. And another way that this lesson came home for me is in the recent video that I posted about my experience in 2017. Save yourself. Save yourself. That video is all about the fact that we are the ones, regardless of, it doesn't matter how much God loves you, you are the one that has to receive the love of God. You're the one. It doesn't matter how much I want you to be hydrated. It doesn't matter. If I bring you to the water and you decide you don't want to drink the water, you're gonna die of dehydration. You're gonna die of thirst. So this is what I'm communicating in that message. Well, some people didn't hear that. Some people heard that I am not saying Jesus. That's what they heard. They heard that I was not being religious enough for them, right? So then I had on one angle a whole bunch of vegetarians and plant-based people coming at me and a bunch of Christians coming at me because I'm not teaching and saying things the way that they would say it. I'm not yelling Jesus in my videos, you understand? So again, I was saying, Most High, what is this? And it came back to me again. It's your shadows. It's your shadows. And I'm sharing this message because I know that if this is happening to me, there is somebody out there that this can also happen to. And I have a greater understanding of why we are not to judge. Because I'll tell you, these people who are commenting, I have nothing but love for them. The reason being is because they are aspects of myself. They are aspects of who I used to be. So I'm thinking, how would I want to respond to me? How would I have wanted somebody to respond to me back in that day when I was that type of person, when I was a Bible thumper, right? When I was like telling people, if you don't do it this way, you're gonna go to hell. I literally used to tell people, if you don't believe like this, you're gonna go to hell. You're not baptized? You're not speaking in tongues? I don't know, right? I was terrible. I was terrible in every way. I was terrible because I did not have love. I had a form of godliness and I denied the power of God. Righteous, self-righteous as a Christian, self-righteous as a vegan, as a vegetarian. You understand what I'm saying? I could say that about myself. I have no problem looking in the mirror and saying who I used to be. And guess what? I know enough to say that the person who is wise is the person who knows that they don't know anything as much as they actually should, because we are constantly evolving and growing and changing. And that being said, understand that if you are on an upward movement, moving from glory to glory, consciousness to higher consciousness, from one state of awareness to a broader, more expansive state of awareness, you will encounter your past selves. You will encounter your judgments. You will encounter every single way that you used to think about people. You will encounter someone who will think that way about you. It will happen. So I am just preparing you on your journey of ascension or enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, salvation, as you work out your salvation with fear and trembling, all of that. Understand that when you meet people who, when they comment something to you, it burns you. Ask yourself why. And the reason why is because there is a part of you. There is a part of you. There is something in you that identifies with that. And that is being burnt out by the Spirit of Most High. So don't run from it. Don't become confrontational. I know you want to be. Trust me, I wanted to be. And then I realized this person is me. I wouldn't want someone to cuss out the old Yandia. I wouldn't want them to be, vile towards me. I would want them to try to help me. Or I would want them to just leave me be. You understand? And so now just know that if you want to reduce the amount of judgment that you're going to face on your journey, if you want to not have to be stuck doing shadow work for your entire life in the same degree and extent, then you have to be proactive. And what that looks like is stop judging. If you know, and again, judge not lest ye be judged. If you don't want to be judged, don't judge others. So I know right now I'm being judged. I'm being judged by a whole lot of people, right? And the reason I'm being judged is because at one point I had those same judgments. So now I'm having to face my shadows, and I'm having to learn how to love even deeper, because that is forgiveness. That is forgiving yourself. When I get attacked with these comments, I have to say, Yandia, I forgive you. I forgive you because I am forgiving myself, because a part of me is in those people judging me like I judged others. So I have to forgive. I have to forgive myself. And I have to also say to the people who I may have hurt with my words, with my actions while I was a Christian and while I was a vegetarian or a vegan, I am so sorry from the bottom of my heart. And if it took going through all of this for me to realize, because maybe I would have never asked for forgiveness if these negative things didn't come my way to bring about that reflection and realization, I am happy for it. And I know now how to go forward and reduce these shadows, these demons of judgment, right? And I call it a demon of judgment because imagine, it is appointed unto man to live, to die, and then the judgment. That judgment is going to be you judging yourself. Judge not, lest ye be judged. The consciousness within you, your conscience, is going to judge you because you judged other people. So when you judge someone, you are creating a law. And that law, you will have to live by that law. That law will either free you or it will condemn you. It will. So if you say to somebody, because you eat animals, you will go to hell. Because you don't say Jesus, or because you don't, do some other type of religious something, you're gonna go to hell. Remember, there's layers to everything. There's layers to everything, and we are all growing and living and moving and trying our best in this realm, right? So you will get to your judgment and you will realize this was all about love. The message of Christ is all about love. You're saying you don't want to eat animals because it's all about love. You're saying you don't want to eat animals and do these different things because of the suffering. And what will you do when you're asked, if you cared so much about suffering, why were you oblivious to your neighbor who was suffering? Why were you oblivious to the person who was asking you for help, but because they were not a Christian, you didn't help them? Because they didn't come to church? Because you knew if you invited them to church, they would say no. So you're picking and choosing who you want to bless. You're picking and choosing who you want to give your love and time to. Because if it seems like you could wheel them in for Jesus, then you're good to do it. But if there's no chance that your love given to them won't bring about another soul in the kingdom, you won't do it. And that's the fact. Your measure, this measure of love that you're claiming to live by, you will be judged by that measure. I will be judged by that measure. The difference is that I know it. I know it. And because I know it, I'm choosing to live differently. I'm choosing to try my best to help other people so that we have a happier experience transitioning from this world into the next, because we all will transition from this world to the next. So if you do not want to encounter your shadows, your demons of judgment, as you continue on in your salvation, as you continue on in your ascension, I suggest that you stop judging, because you are creating those shadows. You're creating those shadows. And as soon as you come out of that level, here you are, right? Creating these shadows, judging this, judging that, how someone dresses, how someone speaks, how someone walks, what color their skin, all these judgments, every judgment here. And then, oh, you're ascending, you get here. Well, guess what? When you get here, all these people are going to rise up and find you. They're going to find you. All these people who had your past way of judging, when you come into the new thing, they will find you. And until you learn how to love yourself, your old self, and to forgive yourself for what you did and how you treated others, these people will be demons to you. They'll be demons. They will be like tormenting demons until you realize, wow, that's me. That's what I used to do. I am sorry for anybody that I did this to. I love you. Please forgive me and thank you. And when you say thank you, you move on from that. And every other person that you encounter, the energy will be different. They may say the same things, but it's not going to affect you the same way, because you understand who they are and why they are responding to you in that way, and you've already gone past that. So, dealing with your shadows, if you want to create less shadows, if you want to have less shadow work, start with true love, loving yourself. And when you love yourself and you realize there's aspects of you that are not so kind and not so loving and not so perfect, right? It's going to help you to not judge other people. And when you don't judge other people, you're not creating the opportunities for you to be judged by those same shadows at some point in the future. So this is what I have realized in this short period of time. And I want to thank everyone, seriously, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. I could not have come to that conclusion unless these people left these negative comments. Honestly, I don't know how. It hit me so hard, like, holy crow, these are your shadows. Wow. So I thank you. I thank you for maybe whatever you want to call it, speaking your truth or doing the best that you could. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But I'm saying thank you. And for everybody who is a Christian, I do not call myself a Christian. I think right now Christianity has fallen way off for the most part from the actual message of Christ. So I do not identify myself as a Christian. I identify myself as a person who believes in every single word that Yeshua spoke. I believe that the words that Yeshua spoke existed long before Yeshua existed. Hopefully that clears the record. I don't think I had to say this, but I wanted to say it. And again, if my explanation has rubbed anybody the wrong way, there's really nothing I can do about it, nor is there anything I want to do about it. This is your own issue that you need to go meditate, go pray, and go ask God, why is it that when this girl speaks, I get so annoyed and so agitated? And hopefully if you have a connection with Most High, you will get the answer that will help you to expand your heart to be one of more love and your mind to be one of greater understanding. I love you all. Thank you very much for watching this video. And hopefully I don't have any more rants, but I thought that it would be important to share this message, right? For myself and also for those people who may be going on the same journey or having experienced that right now. Remember, it is my joy to help you manifest your dream life and your highest self. Please like and subscribe. If this content is something that you find helpful, share it with others, and bye-bye. Check out this video for more content.